Gemini 3.0 has changed everything about how websites are being built, and if you use it correctly, you can turn viewers into buyers better than anybody else. I've sold websites and systems for thousands of dollars to clients, and while most AI website tutorials just show you a pretty front end, I'm going to show you my exact system for building and deploying gorgeous websites that turn viewers into buyers in minutes. With integrated AI systems, so you can get more clients, save time, and make more money. And for those of you who don't know, I'm Jack Roberts. I built and sold a top 100 UK startup with over 60,000 customers, and now I run a 7-figure AI automation business. So if you haven't already, grab that coffee and let's dive straight in. Gemini 3.0 is amazing. It can build amazing websites. It can build incredible AI systems. But if you combine it with growth systems, you can get outlier results. We want a beautiful website that converts viewers into buyers, will accelerate your business, that you can even sell to clients. It's easy to build and deploy, and you can even leverage AI in it, which I'm going to show you how to do in this video. And to make this magic happen, we're going to use the 4-step site framework that's going to take it from ideas into a gorgeous website that kicks butts and gets results. S stands for strategy. Now, a lot of people just skip this step and go straight into creating, but that kind of sets up a false economy. When I've sold websites to businesses, one of the things that really crushes isn't the design, even though that is now amazing and makes a huge difference. It's the fact that it solves the business problem. So just take a second to think about this before we jump in. What boat we're rowing in is more important than how hard we row. And when we combine that with Gemini's capabilities, we kick butt. So, strategy. First thing to do is to choose the overall purpose of the website in your endeavor, your business, okay? Is it the handle number one, which is cold traffic you're sending there? If it is, then we primarily want to give them a lot of value and do some kind of diagnostic to warm them up, add more value, and get them down our funnel. If it's warm traffic, we're looking again to add value, but progress more towards getting some kind of commitment on the page. And if it's outbound traffic, in other words, you're reaching out to businesses and saying, hey, I want to work with you, or outbound stuff, it's more important to build trust. And if you're in doubt, always treat. Basically, when I had this conversation with Alex Omozi, we had a really interesting chat about this, that if you treat warm traffic like cold traffic, they'll still convert better anyway. But it does change how we position the whole website, and we need to know this. Now, ask yourself one question. What is the viewer's state? And by that, I mean, we've got to ask ourselves a couple of things. What are their 3 biggest problems? Because we're going to want to address that in the actual website design and copy, and it all blends together nicely. We have the design, and then we have the content to achieve the thing we want to get. What do they already believe before clicking on our website? What are they unsure about? And what made them click? And once you've thought about those questions with a beautiful cup of coffee, it's time to go on to the second step in our site framework, which stands for interface. So at this point, the first thing we want to do in the interface section is to get a mood board of things that we think are cool or look great. The best site that I found for this right now is Dribbble. You go to Dribbble, you can pretty much type in any keyword and find gorgeous websites that you like there. The other one that you can use for more of a code perspective, and I'm going to show you some interesting things in this video that you've probably never seen before in terms of a design that's going to blow your mind, and how you can replicate designs in a crazy, crazy way. So you can check out CodePen, and then another great one is Mobin, which gives you great designs, graphics, dashboards, whatever sort of stuff that you need. Mobin itself, guys, I'm not sure if I'm even pronouncing this correctly, to be fair, is pretty freaking wild. Like, look at this. They've got Claude in there. They've got all these different AI assistants. They've got it for mobile. They've got it for web. You can literally toggle here to go from iOS to web, and just take a moment to kind of browse around the shop and see what you like. So you can check out by categories. Then obviously in Dribbble, you just enter any information that you want to. And then, of course, we've got Google AI Studio. And I'm also going to show you, by the way, guys, how integrating AI into the website itself will actually drive way more sales and drive your business forward, because that was one of the core features I found when I saw my 8,001. So what are we going to look at first? Well, I think in this video, what would be cool, and I've deliberately not thought of something ahead of time because I wanted it to be organic and interesting. There's one website that I've seen that I think looks really cool, which is Base 10, which we're using for our text-to-speech startup glider. And I like the kind of Apple-esque feel of it. I like the dotted line feel of it. I think it's a really nice, interesting website. So I was thinking for this video, we could do one on something like dental agencies. So maybe we want to work with dentists, and our business helps them implement systems to scale their business, which is a lot of AI work in that. So let's say, for example, we like this, and I want to kind of use these dotted lines because it's a kind of systematic way of doing things. So I want to make it look like it is a system replicable way of doing it. So first thing you do is just grab the mood board, and then you're going to come over to Google AI Studio and start pasting in. A cool little hack that you can do as well, by the way, is head over to Canva, open up a whiteboard like this, okay, and paste it in, and then add a little bit of text underneath it. So you come down here and you say something like hero section, okay, and we're going to make that bold and probably a bit larger. So we're both going to give it the actual information, and we're also going to write it down here. So we can be specific about what we like about each bit and where you want to do what. So again, Gemini is really clever. But again, you need to give it some specifics. So I like the hero section of that. I think this is decent. Okay, beautiful. I think this is all we need from base then. So we'll say goodbye. Then you're going to come around and have a little look. So if I just come down here and I said website, let's see if we've got anything interesting. And you're pretty much just going to have a little look around and browse and find websites that you think are really interesting. So here, for example, let's just say we wanted to look at finance because they typically have really gorgeous, engaging websites. I love the style of this. I think this is so nice. I mean, if you look at this, guys, it's pretty insane. Now we just one click, copy it, which is fantastic. You can come down and have a look and see whatever you want to do. This one really caught my eye here. There's Gemini. So I'm going to do, guys, is actually copy and grab that. So let's come down and just steal it. Steal it with pride, as I say, for design inspiration for the purposes of this, which is really cool. So come back over to UI elements and you can see you've got everything here. So let's come down and just copy that. Fantastic. Come back over and throw this one over here. Beautiful. And then we come back over to Google AI Studio. And again, we throw that one in there. And then let's give this a bit of a section, which is, I do want a hero section. And actually, I'm going to amend this to say, this is how I like dotted line and monochromatic. Actually, instead of monochromatic, if we just come down and give it a specific piece of feedback, like, I know this can seem a little bit like it takes a bit of time, but you'll save a lot more time in general because we want to one-shot this as possible. And then let's also add this in for testimonials because I think this is gorgeous. So you pretty much like a dream list, just grab any design components that you want. Now, they do follow there's a structure to creating websites that does convert. And I'm going to cover on this outside the design point because that's so important to understand. So come over here and now we're just going to put this in here. And then we are just going to say design. We come over to Google AI Studio, drop that core image in. And then what we're going to say here is just simply testimonials. Testimonials. Beautiful. All right, nice. Now we've got this, we've kind of paired the feedback to the image. I'm going to add a bit of a background thing in here just so that it's clear on the dotted lines of Canva, what we're looking at. Send this all the way back. Awesome. And then let's make this white so it looks nice and tasty. You'll know when you watch my videos, like I tend to get stuck down these design rabbit holes. Like I did it in my community. It was really funny. So in the classroom, for example, I went down and I had to have this like dotted connected artwork. So I was like, I spent the whole day doing it. And I was like, I get these things sometimes. And I'm like, I just think design is just so important to do. It genuinely is. That was one of the biggest pieces of feedback I got my first tech business actually, was that the website was so good and crisp. People just assumed, like I had one guy said, oh dude, yeah, you must have had like millions in funding. And I was like, dude, we didn't. We actually didn't. We bootstrapped it to start. So it was really funny we get that feedback. That's the difference that it makes. So we've got the mood boards, which is awesome. Now we're going to come and give it a prompt and we're going to establish, first of all, the design aesthetic, the sections. And then after that, we're going to look at the second part, which is going to be the copy. And what we want to do is a kind of easy 3-part structure prompt. So for example, we might say something like, hey, I would like you to design for me a website for an agency that helps dentists scale their business using proven AI systems. Okay, beautiful. And then we want to give it some information about the kind of stylistic guidelines and then reference to this. And then we can add more specifics at the bottom. So I'm going to come and grab from here some stylistic guidelines I thought would be really handy and interesting. So let me open up these and we're going to need that conversion blueprint in a second. So we've got like a design elements cheat sheet. So these are things that we can add in if we want to, right? Like solo animated background. I think that is really cool. So let's add this one here. Let's go for soft animated background, light beam texture, bam. So if I want to add this in, I'm just going to come over to this style to add in these components, bam. And then we've got the things like intentional micro interactions, everything reacts. I think that'd be a cool one for us to have as well. Let's add that in there. Yeah, so after we've added this one here as well, you can basically just go through and decide what you would like. And I'll show this as a link down below so you can grab it and have fun with it. Just different kind of components that you want, like depth layers, strong typography, whatever you want to. Then the next thing I want to do is give it like an effect or a style to replicate. So we could do it in anything we want to. So you can decide, is there like a particular business that you like the look of that you want to replicate? I think Visel is really nice. So if I just said in the style of Visel, I think that is gorgeous. Let's come back over to over here. And then I'm going to put this one here, which is fantastic. Come back. And then at the bottom, I've got these like design specific prompts that you can use, which is like anything you want design wise to change that you think are going to be great. Just come down here, grab the ones that you want to add and amend as you pretty much go. And then you're going to come back over here. The next thing we need to do is add the structure of it. So before we do that though, let me just specify here. I'm going to say, I would like you to use the reference images that I provided and copy that style first and foremost, then use the below for additional context in your design. Beautiful. Okay, we'll have this one here. And then what I'm going to say at the bottom in terms of structure is I'm going to have, I would like you to use this website structure. Okay, now what we're going to have here at the top is simply this. You're going to start with a hook at the top. You're going to have a promise of value, a value proposition. Underneath that, the next section you're going to have then is going to be essentially is going to be the value proposition in more detail. So 2 or 3 things about the value proposition. Then we're going to have proof, and then we're going to have a CTA at the bottom of the screen. Now, when you do this, this is all going to be influenced by what you did in the first section, which is going to be the strategy section. Then when we're happy with that, we are effectively going to shoot this off and let it build and create some magic for us in the background. And whilst Gemini is building that, I'm also going to show you a new hack that you might not have seen before. Now, let's say, for example, there's a website that you like. I'll tell you a really good one is this one, which is designjoy.co. So this is a really beautiful website. I think it's great. It looks gorgeous. Let's say that you find a website that you want to replicate exactly. Now, most people will say all you're going to do is take a screenshot, right? Look, come here and it'll take a screenshot and blah, blah, blah. But what if I told you that basically, and you'll know this, but a website is basically HTML and you can download a website. So what you can do is you basically come over and grab one of these HTML downloaders. So if I just say HTML grab from website, like very poorly explained, but you get the idea. You can go to view page source, so see and download any code from any website. Find a website that you like, grab it, come back over, throw it in the URL, click on view source code, and this will be the exact code that you've got for that website. So we're going to come down and then we will do, I believe it's stylized code like so, and then we've got all of this. So simultaneously, what I'm going to do, guys, is come down and show you a secondary strategy that if you've just got one that you really like, and like, dude, I just want to replicate that website, you can do something like this. So what I'll do once I've copied that is come over to aistudio.google.com/apps. I'm going to open a new one. I'm going to say, I would like you to create for me a design agency website using the below HTML code, make it gorgeous and beautiful. Bam. Okay. Enter the HTML code, and then we accompany that with different screenshots. So then you basically come down, you screenshot, you come back over, you throw that in, and then you just screenshot a few of the different elements that you like, that you think are decent, and I'll show you how close you can actually get with this. It is pretty wild, but you'll see for yourself in a second. Now, I'd never recommend that you just lift and shift websites. It's not a good way to do this, but what is really helpful though, when you're doing things like this, is that there's lots of things that you want to innovate on and be different on, but website structures that convert viewers into buyers and certain design principles, you don't need to actually innovate on all that stuff. So this is now working and pipping and popping in the background. Let's come back over to the initial one and see how we're getting on. It's developing it and it shouldn't take too long, and then we'll get our very first example to look at. Beautiful, guys. So we have Dentascale. Did you realize? Fill your chairs on autopilot. So it's got some animations in the background that needs to loop properly. So that'd be something that we need to be specific about. The operating system for your growth. This is really lovely. I love this. It's kind of like, you can see as I hover over it, there's a kind of orange hue that appears there. Amazing. And then this is really cool. That kind of soft fade and connect, collaborate, launch, measure impact. So we can see some cool stuff here, and then we've got feedback, scale your practice, and we are ready to rock and roll. But how are we getting on now with the Design Joy thing? So check this out. You're not going to believe this. Guys, look at this. You'd be remiss for thinking it's the same thing. Look at this. It's not exactly the same, but to be honest with you, just off that, like, and it's even got the same logos, which is crazy. It's got these things coming down here, one subscription, many possibilities. It's literally copying that verbatim. And even down to this, we can copy it like this. It is actually freaking wild how effective that is. And you can just copy the HTML like this to get a good basis if you want to follow a website structure more closely. The next thing I want to do, guys, is grab this 8-step conversion blueprint, which effectively is all the stuff we want on a high converting page, basically to turn viewers into buyers. So what I come down here is grab this right here. And as you can see, we've got the value proposition, the proof, the friction CTA, the follow-up, the debug. So I'm going to come back over then and give it one nice, tasty follow-up prompt over here. So once we've refined the design, you're going to go back and forth. Now, typically speaking, it's better to try and what we call one-shot the whole thing, in the sense that you get it to design somewhere near like 95% of the design that you want on your first go, because it's easy to amend. Now, good thing to bear in mind with Gemini here, with all these things, is that it can take what's existing and change it. But if you're asking it to reconstitute the entire design every time, it just gets stuck down these rabbit holes, even though it is incredibly effective. So I would rather you hit a fresh blank slate if you feel the design's not getting to the right point. Now, the next thing we do in this page realistically is look at the copy. So we want to change the copy to something that's actually going to resonate. So we want some kind of hook at the top. We want some kind of proof and credibility that's kind of easy to look at. And this brings us nicely onto the T section in our site framework, which is text. When we're very happy with the design and the visuality of it, we're going to design this website perfectly. We are going to have at the very beginning a hook to grab their attention. There's different methodologies. Effectively, we can use things like a frustration hook, like dentists frustrated that you're not getting any clients, even though you're working very hard every week. Or we could have an offer hook, which is dentist will get you 20 new leads in 30 days, or you pay $0. So some kind of hook, a little explainer about what we do, ideally a visual image or something in the background. Then we want a little flirtation with the logos and credibility. Then we go straight into the value proposition, which is price is what you pay, value is what we get. And you explain that in a bit of detail. Then after that, we kind of want to go through a bit more proof so people know what we're doing and how it works. This could be testimonials from clients, include videos, include images. So for example, if you look at this thing I had a while ago on my community, this is full of testimonials of people who've been in the community, either got their first clients, got their first automations, it goes on and on. And we've got all these videos. We're very blessed to have as many success stories as we do, because what we do talk about works. You basically fill all that stuff into the page to kick some butt. Then once you've done that and you've got the kind of text nailed down, the last thing we want is what we call a clear next step, because you've made a great promise that they care about. You've explained it in detail, you've shown them why you're credible, and the next thing is a very clear next step. And this is where we get to in our framework, the E, which stands for engine. An engine is the enhancement side of the website, how you take it from this to this. Now, when I sold my last one for 8,000, one of the core criticalities I had in there was a chatbot that would take the email and book leads. Now, what's really cool is that you can integrate any AI component you want to into the website. It's crazy. And I'm going to show you how you can do two of those right now. The first one is going to be a chatbot. Now, to do that, we're going to head over to the wonderful 11labs.io. So let's load this bad boy up. Let's log in and kick some butt. So you can build agents. They can be voice agents. They can be conversational agents. It could be anything that you want to. So the first thing we do is come and sign up, which is fine. On the left-hand side, let me just come through. We're going to go with let's go with a business agent, which is great. We'll do healthcare and medical, or we'll do customer. Let's do scheduling. That's fantastic. Call this one Maria. And then our website could be something like, I don't know, monzo.com. Your main goal is to provide a helpful experience to the client and to book a 50-minute discovery call with Jack, our head of growth. Awesome. Okay. Chat only or audio. We can be either. We're just going to do chat only for this, but it could be audio. In fact, you know what? Let's do it. Let's make it speak. I'm going to come down. Okay. It needs a HTTPS. Okay. Beautiful. And then create agent. Okay. Did I not do this? That is crazy. Oh, I added one T too many. For a British person, that's pretty wild. Okay. That's loading up. And once we've done this, guys, we can just basically configure it to do anything that we want to. So I'm going to show you two different versions that we can do on this. So there's a new agent configuration that lets you scribe in real time, redesigned agent config, and a new widget, which is cool. So on this, you've got a personality that you can work through. You've got different voices. Like this is Eric, for example. He can play some different bits and pieces. You can decide which one that you want to. That's what he sounds like.
His riches, complain his poverty.
Okay, we're going to go with Stokes because Stokes is great. But basically, you can pick any of these ones that you want to. If you want it to have an auditory, like, make an audio thing. And then we can have the language. So we would prefer to have UK English, I believe, which they don't have. So we'll just go with, unless they have United Kingdom. They don't seem to. That's interesting. Yeah, we'll just go with the States then. That's fine. We'll come down here. Or we can do Italian. I wonder if actually, my apologies, the accent is actually driven by the voice. That's just English is always going to be English there. So we have all this stuff, which is cool. And we just click on save when you basically customize this and go through everything that you want to. And then you can come down to over here. And I think it is under preview agent. Then you can have a conversation with it to do whatever you want to. So you can expect and connect it to all of your apps, which is very cool. And to do that, you come over to workflow. You can build up workflows. You can do knowledge bases. So you can give it like all the information. Add documents, policy documents, things about your websites. If you say, hey, Jack, what do you charge for XYZ? It can tell you that. Or like, can you give me examples about companies that you worked with before? It can do all of that stuff. Then it has tools. These tools can then do things like end the conversation, transfer to agents. So if it's having a chat with somebody and it's not getting enough, it can loop you in and do some really cool things. Then on the widget section, you can actually embed this. So what we're going to do here is copy this. We're going to come down here and I think we can save and we're ready to rock and roll. You can come back over to Gemini and then you can say this. I would like you to embed this chat widget into the website. Okay. So once you've done all the customization, obviously we cover a lot more about that in the community, all the kind of cool AI tech and how you level it up. But just to give you TLDR of your respect for your time here, you can just then copy this embed code, which is HTML, which will call 11 Labs and then install it within the website. Meaning now that you have this gorgeous website, which loops, we've got all the animations, we've got everything that we need, and then we're going to have this additional chat functionality in there too. Now, while this is rendering in the background, I think actually this very second, I think it's just complete. It has, oh my gosh, guys, check this out. So if I come up and I full screen this, let's have a look. You're now going to have this in the bottom right-hand corner, which means that you can do things. Again, it could be chat only. It could be anything that you want. We accept. And we could just send a message. If it was chat only, it would just be like a chat bot. So I'd be like, hey man, how's it going? Boom. And then I'll stop responding to me and we'll have a full conversation. And then we equip this with agent tools. We can connect this to automations, capture emails, bot calls, whatever we want to. So this is very cool. But let's say that one of the CTAs that went on the website wasn't just to book a call, but what we actually wanted to do is give them like an audit or something free. One of the things we can do is build a questionnaire into it. So check this out. I would like you to develop for me a questionnaire embedded at the bottom of the form. The value proposition of this is find out how much money your dental practice is losing every month by not having email systems installed. You're going to ask them 4 questions. Their email, their number, which is optional, their name. You're going to ask them what their average value per lead is, and then how many email subscribers they have, and then how many emails they send per week, and then click submit. Okay. Then what we're going to do is actually grab an AI piece of software. So we're going to head over to Go High Level. Now, Go High Level is amazing because it lets us build loads of automation sequences out and emails and texts and loads of cool stuff like this. So, for example, what I can do with Go High Level is send the information over there to anything. I can send it over to N8N. I can send it over to anything I possibly imagine. You're going to come on the left-hand side right here. You're going to come down to this. And then when you're in your account on the left-hand side, you're just going to come down here to automation. And then when you're in automation, you're going to open up a brand new automation very quickly, which is create workflow, start from scratch. And all we're going to add into this is a webhook. And webhooks just connect things to other things. Because what we do here, guys, is grab the information from our app and then bring it over. So we come over here, we're going to add a new trigger. We're going to go for webhook, inbound webhook, and it will give us a webhook address. And we copy it. And then you're going to come back over to our design, which is over here, I believe. I'm going to say, send the information to this webhook. And you paste it in. Oops, not quite that one. Let's come in and make sure we get the correct webhook address from Go High Level, which is here, right? So let's come down. All right, now we've copied it. Now we can enter it in and we're ready to go. Send this prompt off, and then we're going to have a form that will then connect to Go High Level. And then we can look at how we publish it, deploy it, and kick some butt. And just like that, we now have an update. So let's check out what the form looks like. We're going to scroll down and have a look, and we should see a form on the page. Wow, look at this. How much money are you losing? So in reality, we would want to change the design of this, but obviously this is just to get it live and rock and rolling. So I'd say, hey, I'd say my practice name is Dr. Teeth. Okay, Dr. Teeth. We'll say it's Teeth at Outlook. Phone number, we'll leave it. Value per lead is going to be something like $500. And then total email subscribers, we'll have 10,000 emails sent per week will be 1. Then calculate my lost revenues. Click on this. It's calculating for us. Calculation is complete. Awesome. Now, if we head over to Go High Level here, and I come down, I click on fetch sample requests. Just 1 second. It looks like it hasn't sent that. So let's just confirm this one more time. Grab this. If I just save trigger, mapping reference. Let's see if we can reference payload. Nothing's come up yet. So what we do is come back over to our scenario real quick, and then we just give it that feedback that didn't come through. Hey there, dude. You just need to make sure that you send that information through to the below webhook. When I complete the form, it doesn't actually happen. Also, give the form a white background so it stands out a bit more and make it top to bottom rather than having questions left to right. And then we give it feedback and send that back off. And then we can try that one more time. So now we've redone this. I've entered some information and we'll click on calculate my lost revenue and we'll send this one back off. And then we just come straight back over to go high level. And then we should see the reference payload. So we come down here and as you can see, it's pulled through successfully. And then we've got all of the data. So we save that trigger. And then the next thing that we do in Go High Level, guys, is we've created the contact, which is awesome. One moment. So what we need to do, first of all, is add a field. So we add a field. We select on email, like so. And all you're going to do is come down here, click on this button here, find the hook and type email. So this is saying, look, Jack, you've asked me to create an email. Where am I grabbing that email from? We're saying, look, well, you're grabbing it from the webhook, okay? Then we add another field, and the other field might be something like name, right? So it could be full name. And again, we just select the inbound webhook trigger, and then it basically automatically pulled through everything for us. So then here we could say, great, well, here is their name. And you can keep doing this, grabbing information, grabbing the financial data. And then what we can do once we've created that is simply send an email. You can also send SMS, which is cool. So I can send you a text message. I can send you a WhatsApp message. I can send you email sequences. And obviously you can build out a really beautiful email sequence to do that by clicking send on email and then go through the whole process. And typically speaking, your email sequences, it's great to send at least 5. Most people don't respond if they don't get a response on the first email. But as you can see, having a system like this where you're sending things back up, personalized to the user message can really improve conversions, and all the sales are happening the more emails that you actually send up there. So now we've got the website already and we're happy with it. The next thing we want to do is actually download it. So you're going to come down here and you're going to click on download app like so and click on save. This is going to download all of these files for us, okay, onto our computer. Then when it's on our computer, we can edit it, get it ready to put onto GitHub, make any final changes. And then whenever we want to edit it, we have a folder on our computer that says a website, and then we can change it and do a million different things. So what I want you to do is head over and download this if you haven't already, which is Cursor, which is basically a place that lets us edit code on our laptop. You could use things like VS Code. You could use things like Anti-Gravity, which is Gemini's one. It really is up to you. I like to use a combination of Anti-Gravity and Cursor. Then when you download Cursor, guys, you'll have something that looks like this. So the first thing we need to do is unzip the thing we downloaded. So come over to your downloads, double click on it, and Dental Scale AI will appear by magic. Then in Cursor, we're going to open up that folder to let us edit it, okay? So come down here to File, click on Open Folder, select Dental Scale. Fantastic. And then this is our new app. Now, what I like to use personally is Claude Code. So, and come down here and click on Show Terminal. Now, Claude Code you need to use in a terminal. So to do that, you need to install it. And to install Claude Code, it's dead straightforward. We're using Claude, by the way, because it's like the most powerful model for editing things alongside Gemini 3.0, which we could use in Anti-Gravity, but I want to show you everything so you've got it. So you just come down, you literally just copy this code and paste it into the terminal and you're ready to rock and roll. So once you've done that and it's downloaded, you type in Claude will appear. This thing on the right is how you chat within Cursor, basically. But what I'm going to do here is right click and I'm going to align this panel to the right. Cool. So what I'm going to do, if it will actually do that, it's misbehaving at the moment. Panel position right. Thank you very much. So first thing I want to do here is I would like to upload this to GitHub. I would like you just to go through the files, make sure it's as good as possible, make any amendments you think are valuable. And then I would like you to upload it to this GitHub, please. Okay, what I'm going to do is actually put it into plan mode. Plan mode just lets it think a little bit more detail. And then we head over to github.com. We're going to come down here, click on new, and then we're going to create it. We're going to call this one Dental 5000. And then we can hear like dental website, something like that. Change visibility will be public, and then click on create repo, which is awesome. And then you're going to copy that Git, come over to Cursor, and then, oops, I need to just read this message because I sent that ahead of time. So I'm just undo that and paste this one in. Cool. So then we give it the proper paste, and then we're going to be ready to rock and roll. Cool. And then Cursor comes back with some questions. So we know it is indeed public, which is fine. And then we want minimal security issues, moderate security and cleanup, comprehensive. So just answer the questions that it gives you. I think we're going to be fine with, we can go with any level we want to. So we want to go for moderate, MIT license, no license is going to be needed. And then yes, professional setup is cool. and we submit answers. And the cool thing you can do, if you want to take your website from this to this, you basically say to Claude, you go into deep think mode, you explain the context and the purpose of the website, and you can actually ask it to go through the entire website line by line to improve anything that you want to, and it will sit there ruthlessly going through the entire website and improving the code. I did this with my text-to-speech startup Glido, and honestly, the copy and the quality was insane. So I'd say before you publish it, spend time with it, sparring with it, and make it amazing. So we say, yes, we're happy to also accept edits, so we don't need to keep here pressing one. Maybe it's good for workout, actually, a little bit of a rotator cuff training there. And then after this, guys, it will actually then push it through, you accept it, and it said it's now published live to GitHub, which you can go and validate very quickly. And now I'm on the GitHub. Let's go over to the code, and if it's worked, we can see, now guys, check this out. It's all the code there. It's perfect. Now, the cool thing is, whenever you edit this with Claude, this will update for us automatically when we tell it to do that. We call that pushing the changes live. So if you think of it like checkpoints in a game, when you don't want to go from level 1 to level 999 without saving it. We need to save it as we go, right? It's really the key. But the cool thing is now we've got the code on this repo, which is available to everybody. So if you wanted to make this protected, we would turn it to private. The way that you do that is clicking on settings, scroll down, and you'll see here visibility, which will be set to public. Where are we at right now? Down here, change visibility to private, and that'll mean that only you and everyone in your house, including your dog and Springer Spaniels, can see it. Now it's there. How do I get it on a website, and how do I get a cool domain, which no one shows you, but we're going to cover that. So you're going to head then over to Vercel. Really cool freaking website, blown up. This is where Bolt.new pushes all their stuff. You're going to come down on the right and click add new and add project. You connect this to GitHub by just opens a new browser and signs you in. On the left, you're going to see Dental 5000 3 minutes ago. You click on import like so, which is decent. It auto selects the framework and click on deploy. If you try to push this to GitHub directly from AI Studio, one of the things I noticed is it just never seems to load. You end up with a black screen of death. When you take it to your computer and you have an actual model sit around with it, play around with it, move some things around, it just actually physically works. It does all the different changes to make sure it's ready to be website. And I think a lot of the reasons for that is dependencies. Actually, you need to install the dependencies, and that means it can be visible based on the beautiful frameworks that you have ready to rock and roll. So we click deploy and hold on 1 second. And just like that, guys, it is now live and rocking and rolling. And check this out. It's got Windows Biz hanging out. There's loads of things going on. You can scroll down. We've got interactivity. We've got loads of stuff happening. And let me show you, if you come back to Cursor now this is published. I want to show you how cool this is. If I say, look, book 20 new patients, let's say I want to say something like, I don't like 20. I might just say, hey, change it from book 20 patients to book 27 patients. All right. I push that in. Bam. Now check this out. It's working in the background. I want to show you how this works because it's crazy. Well, have a little think. This will update it. This will update GitHub, and then GitHub will update Vercel automatically for us now that is live. So I want to let you see this in real time to see how crazy this is as we give it a hot second just to complete that. See, it's edited the code there. 20. It's got rid of that. Anything in red is what it removed, and green is what it replaced it with, right? Then it'll say, hey, this is now complete. It's ready to rock and roll. And we can go back over and see that it's complete. So if I come back over to Vercel here, you can see we've got everything here, guaranteed or you pay $0, blah, blah, blah. Very cool. This is the page where I can do anything I want. I can effectively, if I want to, change the domain name on here. So let me just show you where that is. If I click on domains, buy domain, I can then enter the thing I want. It'll let me buy any domain, which is coolspringerspaniels.com, the greatest website in the world. Add that in. I could change it, and then I can just set it. And now I have a beautiful client website for my business, for my clients. It works well. Then I come over to the page and I refresh this. Do I see 20 or 27? Buck 27. Crazy. And I'd recommend that when you're building apps that you really like, that you do use Gemini 3 and also Claude 4.5. If I open anti-gravity, I can do the exact same thing by opening the folder. I can open the same thing that I downloaded over here, which is Dentiscale AI. And now this is exactly the same thing, guys, as we just played with on the actual app. But instead, we're doing it and using it in anti-gravity. I like using both Gemini and Claude because if you run out of credits in one, you can use the other, and both models are so powerful. Some people say 4.5 edges it, others say that Gemini edges it. I like to use both for different reasons and have a great time doing it. But here's the key thing, and it all functions in the same way, by the way. It all looks very complicated, it all functions in the exact same way. But here's the key thing. Now you've learned how to actually build these incredible websites with Gemini's AI systems. The next thing that you then need to do is actually figure out how you build these into comprehensive systems that can build anything for your business or those of your clients, which you can learn by watching this video right here.